Not being able to speak is not the same as not speaking. You seem as if you like to talk. I like to let people talk who like to talk. It makes it easier to find out how full of shit they are.
What the hell did you just say?
You are the new student. Come closer.
You're listening to the Kung Fu Podcast presented by James Still.
Anybody who has some knowledge of Kung Fu can easily defeat you.
And Steve Newby.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
If you flash him, even for an instant, a defiant eye, he'll pluck it out. And if you throw any American sass his way, he'll snap your back and your neck like they were twigs.
Are we gonna go? Are we going?
Yeah. Let's just.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like Mastermind specialist.
I'm in a different room. Today. I'm in a daughter's room today.
Oh, I was going to say, it's a study.
Just stop Daniel walking in halfway through because he finishes work at 5:30.
Well, that's all we want. One of your girls walking in with a towel and a thing on her head, just coming out of the shower or something.
No, she knows I'm here. So.
Oh, that's all right. Right. So, guys, welcome to the Kung Fu episode. We start as we mean to go on. Welcome to the Kung Fu Podcast episode 29. I think it's 29.
I believe it's 29. Yeah.
Oh, I think so. And welcome back to the show. We've had a bit of a break. When I say break, it's been about 10 days or something. I don't know. But we like to keep it. We like to build up the freshness and send it out there. All cool. Right. What are we talking about today?
Keeping up with the goss. Keeping up with the goss.
It's like EastEnders, isn't it? It's like EastEnders and Coronation Street rolled into one. What have you been up to anyway? How's things?
Just teaching and driving.
Yeah? Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I've been swatting up on all things motorcycle riding,
Yeah.
So same sort of, subject matter really, because I'm just focusing on all the rules of the road and stuff like that. And obviously I've been driving for ages, but things are slightly different on motorbike.
I've also been doing some videoing of roundabouts.
What are they, Mr. Newbie?
Yeah, exactly.
Turn right at the roundabout, and they actually do. Honestly,
they have not got a clue what a roundabout is. They have no idea. They all make it up as they go along. Because they just appeared 10 years ago, and some of the parents go, I just drove down the street and there was a roundabout and I didn't know what to do. So when they go across a roundabout, they signal left to go straight on.
Right.
Because they say, oh, well, I've got to tell that guy I'm still in the roundabout. And I'm saying, well, do you tell him when you're going across a set of lights that you're still going across a set of lights? Do you turn left to go straight on? Or signal left, rather?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's...
So, I'm doing a video about roundabouts for the Canadians. That'll be with because I've got a lot of videos on, with truck driving and stuff like that, with chaining up and all that. So.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that sounds...
It's my other life.
Yeah. Well, it's all interlinked, though, now, isn't it? So teaching is teaching and...
Well, this is the thing, you see. It's always been... I think that's always been my passion. And we were talking about that, weren't we? It's I thought maybe, because martial arts is my passion, but my real love is actually teaching people. So,
yeah.
And I think that's where I missed the most. And then I got this job, and I actually really love it. I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry to break up the flow, but you sound like you're from an interstellar galaxy for some reason. Your voice is all funny. Where's your mic?
Really?
Where's your mic?
What mic? I haven't got a mic. You told me I didn't need a mic.
Well, where is it pointing on the? Is it?
The thing. It's there. Yeah.
Right. It just sounds a bit weird.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know where the mic is.
Listen, if you're going to do a live fix, you got to at least know where you're going. You know, like, oh, wait a second, I'll just...
I never put a mic in this thing, do I?
No, you don't put them... Wait, I don't know. I don't think you've got a port for it, have you? It's an iPad. Oh, well, never mind. Never mind.
Do I get closer and talk closer?
Well, no, it's all right. We'll have to make do. We'll have to make do. Do I sound all right?
Yeah.
My mic all right? Oh, it's all right. Good stuff. I think last podcast we had the levels a bit funny. I sounded like I was turning all the time, so it's weird. So it hasn't been a dull couple of weeks, to be honest with you. to put it mildly. I mean, so I don't know where to start really.
We've had some new fans.
We've had some new fans, and we've had plenty of new enemies. Oh, I tell you.
Well, no, that's the fans, of course.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. I love it. In fact, we're so bad now. Like as a podcast, we are being sort of reported, or they're threatening us. Some people are threatening us for using some photos, group photos, mind you.
Well, you mean my photos?
Yeah, your photos. Photos on one of our slideshows on our Facebook, because it includes these individuals. They're saying, "Oh, you can't, don't use it." We're gonna. They're telling us under the General Data Protection Regulation Act, under Articles 17 and 19, you need to remove these photos because it's like it's personal data, etc., etc. And basically, the GDPR.
You should have thought of that when they posed for them, shouldn't they?
Well, that's it.
Because if you pose for a photograph, then it's not. It's in the public domain then.
But not only that, I'm in them. I'm in the one photograph when we're in a group, and there's like 4 other people in this photograph, and the other one is of the Scottish team, and this individual's in that photograph, and there's like what, 15 people in that photograph.
They don't like your history, do they? They don't like.
Hey, let's pull down. Let's pull down the statues, man. You know, let's get rid of the history. Nice. But the funny thing is,
that way. I'm afraid it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's just really weird. Like, you know, you go. But the GDPR is it's an EU law on data protection and privacy.
Oh, right. Okay. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Whereabouts in Europe is Canada?
Yes. Well, this is true. You know, maybe if they don't know this, that Canada's not in the EU. However, there is sort of provision within this law to appeal to other countries, etc. Now, actually, Canada has its own version of the law, and as do many other countries, like, you know, blah blah blah. But basically, what this law is it's designed for like data harvesting, because it covers things like your email, your online shopping habits, your IP address, you know, your Facebook likes, what you like on Facebook. So it's like data harvesting by these big unscrupulous companies who would then sell your data on to people. That's what this law is designed to sort of, you know, combat and cover. And there was a company in the UK called Cambridge Analytica who got in a bit of hot water for sort of trying to influence votes in the UK after, you know, during the Brexit thing. I don't know whether you believe that or not. I don't know, but you know, whatever. But that's what this law was designed to sort of combat, not photographs, not team photographs.
Not
so guys,
people's personal photographs.
It's like, what are you on about?
Taken, yeah,
like
but they were quite happy to pose at the time.
Yeah. Oh, we've got some fantastic poses.
Yeah,
you know,
got some real nice poses.
Yeah, I was going to do a slideshow, but I thought, no, I can't be bothered. Don't want to talk about that much. But anyway, you know, interesting. So that's one of the things that's happened to us. But what we want to do is we're going to talk about this episode, obviously Kung Fu, but you know, looking at challenges, right? And you know, like we've already had the one about the threats and all that, and you know, challenge to a point.
But they're threatening because they basically, I suppose, that I made a point of telling people what actually happened to me with these students.
Yeah.
I guess, didn't I?
Yeah,
Kind
but,
of. That's.
I think,
But that's my history.
Yeah, but it wasn't about that. Okay.
No,
So
okay.
do you want to know what it was about? Really? No. Okay. So have you heard? I'll just do a preamble, right? Have you heard of the pastry war of 1828 between the French and the Mexicans?
No.
And it's a genuine war. It's the pastry war, right? Have you heard of it?
No.
No. That was genuine war, right? A French guy's bakery got burnt down, you know, and the Mexicans in Mexico, and they wouldn't do anything about it, right? Have you ever heard of the Great Pig War of 1859 between the UK and America?
No.
These are actual wars, right? So you haven't heard of that? Yeah, apparently some Americans shot a British pig, and there was, you know, whatever. It was a war, right? Genuine, documented.
That was between Canada and, it was in Bellingham.
I think it was America. It was American. Shot pig.
Yeah, on Canadian soil, and they was going to get a war on it.
Right, there you go then. There you go. Right.
But someone bought them a new pig or something.
So, right, okay. So, have you heard of the Bobby Davro War of 2020?
I've heard of that one.
This is what this is about, right? So basically I said, like, the master of the Hung Gar style looks a bit like Bobby Davro. And suddenly,
so what's wrong with that?
Oh my God, there's nothing wrong with it. It was a joke. But on reflection, you know, he doesn't look like Bobby Davro. He does look more like G.I. Joe than Bobby Davro. But I was watching Avatar the other day, and you know the Colonel in Avatar when he says, "You're not in Kansas anymore." He looks like that guy. I swear to God, he's the Colonel from Avatar. Right. Anyway,
so
he does, and then that's called humour. I know I've got a singular wit. People have told me this, but it's a joke, right? Anyway, so I got sent a message from one of, I presume, one of the Hung Gar practitioners. I suspect it may have been from sort of the head guy in the UK. I don't know. I can't prove it. But anyway, he sent me a message on my works phone, and it says this, right? And it could have been worse. You know, it wasn't overly bad. But I want to just talk about it and talk about sort of challenges in relation to it. Okay, it says, "Hey there, James. I just want to say that I've been watching your Kung Fu podcast, episode 27, and I must say you were very insulting towards my master, Mark Houghton, by calling him Bobby Davro." Okay, all right. "So you are saying his Kung Fu is rubbish and that it can't work? ? Well, I must say that you are more than welcome to test the Hung Kyun. I would be more than obliged to test out the power of Lau Gar Lung Kung Fu. Watching your episode 27 really pissed me off," he says. Okay, all right. So it could have been a lot worse, that message, to be fair. Okay.
I think that was a decent message. I think he said his piece.
Yeah, he said his piece. You know. Anyway, so we kind of crafted a reply, and I'll read out this reply, and then we'll talk about some of the language used in this message, and just highlight some of our thoughts on it. Okay. So our reply was this. We said, "Thank you for your candid opinion. My apologies for using humour in our podcasts. I welcome your opinion about your style. We reserve the right to question the science of any martial art, including some tutors teaching our own. If you feel you need to physically prove your style, you are clearly missing the point and making the same mistake many far more experienced than you have made before. YouTube is full of them. Clearly you are passionate about your art, and that can be respected. I'm sure while you feel confident, you should also retain the common understanding that martial arts is a practical method of self-defense, as well as many other benefits. We are, through many years of experience, well-versed in the physical experience and the tactical and mental capacity. To that end, we have no interest or inclination to fall for the stupidity of challenges and conflicts. This is the calling of fools who lack judgment and self-discipline and the fundamental principles of the martial art." And to quote these guys in the Hung Gar, "Use it to protect the weak and not to bully. Personal defense is a response, not a threat. It is a necessary reaction, not bravado. It does not come with the consequences. It is because it has to be, not because you think it should be. If you have to think about the fight, you have already lost. So that was that was quite a measured response, I thought, you know. And bottom line, it was humour. So, you know, I'm like, what's wrong? The guy does it. It's like, shall I be fair? Shall I be fair and say that sort of Master Yao looks like an Oriental Super Mario, which he does, but don't tell him. Don't tell him. But, you know,
the thing is, Master Yao's got a sense of humour. And can you imagine? Okay, listen. Can you imagine? I was talking about this as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I watch a movie with Jack Nicholson in it, and I go,
you know what? Movie with Jack?
I don't like Jack Nicholson. Yeah.
Hey there, Steve. How are you? Go on. Yeah.
So we watch a movie with Jack Nicholson, and I don't like Jack Nicholson's movie, so I say on my podcast, you know what? I didn't like that movie. I think he couldn't act in it. Do you think he's going to send the boys round because he's upset because I decided I didn't like his movie?
I shouldn't think so.
No, and I think that people have got to understand and respect that everybody's got an opinion, and some people will, you know, express it, and some people just keep it to themselves. It's either or. Yeah. But for the entertainment of others, we'll express whatever we think about it, and then people are welcome to, you know, throw us, you know, some answers, and, you know, if they disagree, that's absolutely fine.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I mean, it all goes back to those two people that, you know, were in our association previously, and everything they've done has got absolutely nothing to do with the things I've, you know, that I've told everybody that they've done. All they're doing is just throwing back threats and throwing back, you know, all sorts of stupid letters about photographs.
Yeah.
It's just, it's called logical fallacy.
Right, right.
You know, where they find something else to argue about because they cannot answer the accusations. And by their very, you know, I don't know, silence, if you want.
Yeah.
Then they obviously, you know, accept that they're guilty.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it, of course, is didn't they say that I was stealing their money or something?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, yeah.
What did I say?
But, yeah, well, you know, something like you ripped people.
Oh, I ripped them off. Let's just address this. I ripped them off, and then I don't want anything to do.
Yeah, because you're hijacking my bit about challenges now.
Yeah. Well, we'll go on about challenges, but I just want to say this one point. And this is not about challenge. I'm not even trying to challenge them. I don't give a toss. But I am going to correct their assumptions to rights. And I think the listeners have got to take this into account, both of them.
Both of them. Yeah.
And first off, I had to start driving a truck, which I've mentioned already because, you know, the association didn't, you know, I put them in charge of it. I put them in control of certain areas of it. And so I started driving a truck. So let me just think, if I was stealing their money within a very short period, and at the time that they started, you know, doing the dirty and betraying the association and so on, each one of them had a full-time club, and I was driving a truck. So if I was stealing their money,
wouldn't you have the full-time club? And wouldn't they be working?
Yeah, I think it kind of works like that. I think that if I was stealing lots of money from them, I would actually have money and they wouldn't. And so I find that really difficult and insulting for them to try to come back with that kind of
thing. Yeah, but you know, when they can't talk about the martial art they do or give it any credibility or scientific basis, they're going to resort to sort of insult and accusation.
Yeah, they don't like people. They don't like people, you know, questioning them and so on.
Well, this isn't like this isn't new. This is a sort of you know, endemic amongst them. Like it's like Scientology. These guys.
Yeah,
it's like Scientology. It's a cult of belief, and the minute you suggest, you know, something else or you question them, which we totally believe every martial art out there should be questioned. But it's called the Kung Fu podcast. So we're mainly going to be talking about Kung Fu. But, you know, we talk about other things, you know, but, you know, if you're going to then turn around and shut us down and use threats and everything, that's exactly what, you know, people do when they're in a cult. It's
throw
like,
their toys out the pram.
Oh, that's it, because
demand that I take photographs of them down because they were actually part of the association.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
to be honest with you, those photographs, they sicken me anyway. You know, every day that they're there. You know, if I wanted to take them down, I'd take them down because I don't like them being in it.
Well,
but if let's face it, if I cross,
it's history.
Yeah, but
you can't cross one out without crossing everybody out.
Well, if I like put a thing across their eyes or something so they're not recognisable, then people would be looking straight at them and going, "Do I know him?
He's in the SAS." Oh, yeah. You know.
And we've been reserved because we've never mentioned their name, but they have, of course, mentioned their name when they've written to us. You know, complaining about photos or whatever.
Well, the one wrote to us, the other one just copied and pasted. I don't think he's capable of. I don't think he's very capable of, you know, independent thought. You know, judging by his, you know, previous experience.
I thought he was quite a decent guy anyway. But
well, so did I. But you know, these people. Remember, everybody has to justify their position. Yeah,
of course.
But the one thing you don't do to justify your position is take a crap on everybody else. You know, like. Okay, fair enough. Whatever.
You just tell them how you know.
But
it's Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth.
I'll do that later on. Okay, so basically, going back to this challenge thing, because I just want to just analyze this thing, and not because I'm you know, besotted with the Lau Gar, because I genuinely am not. But but.
And remember, this is only one group of Lau Gar.
Yeah, this is absolutely.
And it's nothing to do with you know, Mark Horton or this guy that wrote to you. It's nothing to do with them. No. You know, good luck to them.
But yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, absolutely. You know, whatever. Good, go for it. But I find it interesting that the language used, right? And I just want to sort of go through that with you. Okay. I must say, very insulting to my master Mark Houghton, blah, 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 by calling him Bobby Davro. Okay, we've discussed this. You know, it was a joke. Get over yourselves, all right? A bit of humour, you know, goes a long way. So you are saying his kung fu is rubbish and that it can't work. Okay, I never said it couldn't work. I did say it was crap. Okay, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you my reason why. Okay, and it's an honest reason why. And guys, you are more than welcome to come on the podcast and have a conversation with us. You can two up, you know, and whatnot, and we can discuss this. But this is my impression of what you do. If you look at all your forms that you perform, and I say perform because I'm willing to bet in about 20 years that as long as you guys have been doing the style, that your forms have not evolved past big movements. Okay, and all I have to do is just look at that. Now I've had 16 years experience doing kung fu. Right, and that's 16 honest years, not like some people who say when they started martial arts when they were like 8 and then didn't start again until they were 20 and then suddenly claim they've made up to 12 years. No. This is 16 years, right?
Like the 30-year-old, like the 30-year master.
Right, exactly. You know, the one in Leicester and the one in Hereford as well. You know. Yeah. So 16 years. I've been a reasonable student, not the best. I'm not the best. I'm not the worst, right? But in 16 years, it gives me a sort of ability to analyze what things people are doing. And when I look at the way you do your forms, it's blatantly wushu. Like, no doubt about it. They're all formulated as if you're doing a Hong Kong fight scene. And I'll make that comparison because, let's face it, that's where it's kind of come from. Am I not right? You know, you can, tell me the history and whatnot, but just look at the techniques you're doing. If you're going to do a technique in a form and practice it to the point where it ceases to look like the technique, but is still the technique, then I'd have a bit more respect for you. You know, it's like, we practice big movements to make them small, that's the whole point, because Kung Fu is meant to be invisible now. So if you're practicing these forms in the same way as you were doing 20 years ago, where's your evolution of your style? I haven't seen it. Things like the weapons, butterfly knives, as one's blocking, one's attacking, okay? look at the forms you guys do. You know, I'm not saying you guys aren't physically talented. That's blatantly obvious. There's a lot of talent within your organization. What I'm saying is that talent, that physical talent, cannot just carry you. All right. It takes more than looking like a martial artist to be a martial artist, you know?
And a martial art is you. It's not.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's
and
not something you do. It becomes you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll come on to that, you know? So I'm not saying your martial art couldn't work. Okay. What I'm saying is, you know, that there appears to be total lack of understanding of what you guys do in terms of the path of martial arts. And that's not just based on me. This isn't a style thing. This is a science thing, right? And all we've ever done from episode 1 is talk about science and concepts and ideas, not of Lau Gar. Lau Gar's irrelevant. That's just the name. That's just the veneer of what we do. It contains the science and the strategies, yeah. But forget the name of the style. The name's irrelevant. What matters is the science.
A lot of people do Lau Gar and can't do Lau Gar.
Exactly.
A lot of, they throw themselves around in these big sets.
Yeah. And look at the nationals at Lau Gar, wushu, you know, everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, look at the Lau Gar blog spot. Not one person. Well, actually, that's not true. I think one person tried posting a Lau Gar related question. You know, no one cared. So everyone's back on wushu. You know, that's Lau Gar, right? That's our style.
Oh, they got an Indian woman in there right now.
Oh,
that's the latest one.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Doing an Indian martial art.
Well.
You know, but apparently it looks great on video.
You know, but you know, like you said, there's plenty of people. You know, as far as I'm concerned, totally missing the point with Lau Gar. You know, and I don't like to see martial arts when they're missing the point. That's what I think you guys are doing.
Well, they're missing the point with all sorts of martial arts, and I think it's that missing the point that we're trying to bring to the fore. We're trying to make people aware of that so that we can all improve.
Totally.
And it doesn't really matter what style you do.
Totally. And the point is, like, if you think I'm missing the point of what you guys do, then talk to us. Have a conversation with us instead of offering us out for challenges and this and that and whatnot, because it really doesn't do you guys any favor, right? If you're as good as you profess to be, then surely you can talk about your subject. It's like, you know, like driving theory, okay? Before the practical, you know, let's talk a bit of theory, shall we? You know, going back. So yeah, I think your Kung Fu can work 100%, like against someone who really don't know what they're doing. You know, let's face it, right? But really, we're talking, you know, specifics and science and tactics and strategies. And so far, not seeing a lot of that. But I welcome you to have a chat with us, and I want to be proved wrong. I want you to turn around and make an absolute arse of me. You know, I'm probably doing that myself, but, you know, whatever. But I want you to make an absolute arse of me and prove to me that I'm wrong in my conclusions about what you guys do.
But you've got the right to make your opinion.
And that's all it is. That's all it is, based on my experience and what I'm seeing. All right. It's, you know, I haven't trained with these people. I haven't touched hands with these people. You know, what does that mean? I can't have an opinion? So,
well,
whatever.
I mean, obviously it's all to do with the fact that we had a couple of students that were, you know, doing Lau, and then they're suddenly doing something. I mean, obviously different changes and so on over the period, but they've been trying to look for some kind of, search out some kind of enlightenment, as they said in the letter.
But we've kind of highlighted the contradictions in that enlightenment, you know.
We know that. Yeah,
well, you know.
Yeah, but the people that they went to, I mean, come on. You know, I mean, I know the person that they went to start doing something. You know, obviously, if you stand in front of a class and you thump your students as hard as you can, people are going to be impressed, including the person you hit. Right, and you knock him out in front of people. Thanks for the Christmas card, by the way.
It's all right. It's my pleasure. It's a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah.
Have you got it? Have you got it? You'll have to find it.
I've got it. I'll bring it up at some point. We'll stick it on. Yeah, maybe I'll send it to you. Stick it on at this point, right? Yeah. Okay. And when you get
resist.
Well, when you get stuff written in magazines or online or whatever, which says, you know, the only white man to go to China to train in the mountains with the monks, in, you know, to learn the deadly art of Dim Mak. When you write bullshit like that, do expect to have some kind of criticism,
100%.
And you will get criticism. And don't come back and say, oh, you know, they're crying, they're talking about me, because You know, just because we don't like your style doesn't mean to say. I mean, some people we hate. There's a lot of people here. I think their style's crap, but I do like them. I like them. I like them. I've got a couple of people that I'm really good friends with.
Yeah.
Right. I try not to insult them, but I
You
did
try.
have to speak
You
up.
do try. You do try.
I try not to insult them, but you know, at the end of the day, what are you doing that for?
Yeah. Well,
why did you do it that way?
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it? As soon as you say that, as soon as you say, well, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?
Everyone's got an ego.
Yeah, totally. And is there no greater ego when you got people bowing at your feet? Like, you know, do you see what I mean? Like, have I ever bowed to you, old man, other than formally in a class? You know, no. I haven't. I haven't. I tell you what, though, when I do come over to Canada, we will have to go and do Tim Horton's coffee ceremony. That's in the bag. That's in the bag.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just carry on with this, and we'll continue our chat. Right?
Okay. Sorry.
So, well, I must say you are more than welcome to test the hung cube. Now, I like this because it's like he says the hung cube, right? So it's as if it's like a separate entity. It's like don't mess with the hung cube. It's like, dude, seriously, okay? When you refer to your style in like the third person, like you're kind of missing the point, all right? And let me explain. A style, okay, is intrinsic to you, okay? It's part of you. You don't practice it, you are it, right? And for someone who's been training as long as you have, and if I think it's the person I'm talking to, and as someone who is as talented as you are, and you are a very talented mover, I've watched you, okay, for you to then, you know, sort of segregate the style from the person, you're kind of missing the point, okay? It is you. Everything you do, it's intrinsic, all right? When you get on the bus and someone falls on you, and you have a reaction, it's because it's in you, you know? It's not a separate thing. So don't talk about it as if it's a mystical power, right? That's the kind of shit you get in Hong Kong movies, right? So
it's
wake
like
up.
Swimming. It's like swimming, you know. We learn to swim so that one day, if we were to fall in water, we would be able to swim. Right. We don't do swimming. We just fall in and swim.
Yeah, right.
That's basically what it should be.
Yeah, I totally get that analogy, you know, but it's like the hung cube. And once again, guys, like, it ain't a style thing here, but you're making it a style thing. We're simply sort of trying to talk about strategies, tactics, you know, of martial art.
We were kind of drawn, weren't we? We were drawn by this.
Totally.
You know,
totally, we were drawn.
It's drawn by this logical fallacy.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I think it's like, but like we always say, any martial art out there, including ourselves, we need to be criticized. We need to be open for criticism. Like, you know, if you're not finding argument for and against techniques, you know, then you're not a martial artist. You know, you're just not. Because you might as well go and study ballroom dancing.
Well, a lot of people just take it for granted that this works and that works, you know, and they don't find out. I mean, like you say, when people go doing nationals and, you know, then they go and teach these sets and stuff like that, and they never actually do them. What really annoys me when I watch someone, a high grade, do like a first or a second form, and they're doing them exactly the same as if they just learned them.
Right.
They're doing them more fluidly, but they're doing them exactly the same size, which means they haven't really digested them at all.
Yeah.
And then they try to describe them like that. And of course, when you're teaching someone to learn to write, you have to show them the letters. But when you're writing, you know, you've got to be able to be fluid with that writing. But of course, they've got to be able to read it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, we're not talking about being ineligible. Yeah. You know, doing it, but you've got to be able to read it. But the problem is, we're talking about like massive letters and big movements.
Yeah.
And really, you know, like, let's just think about this, everybody. The smaller the move, the faster the fight, right? Yeah. So, you know, with that in mind, does that not make sense to you? Like, if it doesn't make sense, okay, whatever. But with that sort of idea in mind, you know, why are you practicing forms in the exact same way as you train them? Like, but there's no evolution. That's what I'm getting at.
That's where people try to impress their peers. where they're trying to do them the same way as their peers would do them.
Yeah.
And not actually digesting them in the same way.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's like, you know, but, you know, we come from, you know, I wanted, like, this isn't about like style thing. Like, first and foremost, like I've said, it's like the science. So when we look at things through the eyes of like logic and science and stuff like that, which not many people do. Like, I'm not saying we're like great at it. I'm just saying not many people do, because certainly with something like Chinese martial arts, there's a certain amount of sort of mysticism and the history people feel they have to live up to. Not to mention the amount of films out there, sort of, you know, that in some way influence people.
I think a good example is that Chinese guy with that. He's got a terrible accent. What's his name? That one that's, you know, smash it facing. And all that.
Oh, Master Wong.
Yeah, I love him. I think he's great. And the reason I like him is because he tries to make it practical, right? He tries to do it as quick as possible. He doesn't make big movements. He makes movements that are practical. And they still look like the Kung Fu is doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he's not there trying to make a big thing of it.
Yeah.
So
he's a gobby shite though, isn't he? But but I love him.
He likes to talk. He likes to talk.
Grab him by the balls, Dave. Fuck where you're going to punch him in the face, Dave. It's like, all right, okay. Yeah, like,
yeah, he's a little violent.
Just a little.
But he has to be. If he's thinking about self-defense, he wants to be violent. He needs to be violent. But self-defense is violent by definition. It's not like, I will challenge you, you know, with my martial art. That's just bullshit.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. Anyway, this goes on. He says, well, I must say you're more than welcome to test the Hun Kun, as we mentioned. I would be more than obliged to test out the power of Lau Gar Lung Kung Fu. So, right, test out the power. Right. Let's just analyze what that would mean. You know, listen, if we're talking about power, right, let me just put something forward to you guys, right? I'm not interested in power, because what good is your power if I'm not there for you to hit me, right? First and foremost, okay? So let's just suppose that power is relative between each and every one of us and speed is absolute. Now, you might be using the word power in the context of my style is powerful, it's a strong style. But you haven't really clarified this, so I'm just going to assume you're talking about the power, like the raw power of something. Okay, if your style is based on power, which I would argue what you guys do is, and all I have to do is just look at your forms for that, like 100%. Look at your forms. It's power-based, no doubt. If your style is based on power, then how does that work for someone smaller than you who hasn't got the strength you have? Okay, it doesn't, does it? All right, it only works. It's only dependent. The success of it is based on the biggest person there, you know, because they'll be the strongest. They'll be the most powerful. So why don't you start thinking more about the science of what you guys are saying, and perhaps sort of concede that the power is relative, speed is absolute. But when I say speed, I'm not talking about just speed and technique. There's many definitions of speed. It's an expansive thing. But, you know, to talk about power, you've let yourselves down, because the last thing Chinese martial arts are about is power, all right? It's not, right? Not saying power's not important, because how do you, how do you define power, right? Let me just give you an example. I can punch someone really, really, really hard. I can punch someone bigger than me really hard, because I can align my body in a certain way. I can really, you know, align the get it in there. Great. That same person with the same amount of skill could punch harder than me because they're bigger, right? The bigger person, if he can align himself. But look, we're talking about raw power of a technique. I would argue that power of a technique, you know, you could say that a poke in the eye is powerful, right? Do you see what I mean? Would you agree with that, old man?
Mm-hmm. Yes, power enough to blind you, then yes.
Right. So how much power do you need if we're trying to define power? Right, it doesn't just mean powerful as in, like, you know, a powerful technique.
Relative to the requirements.
Right. Okay. So if we're
relative
talking about
to the requirements,
so
and if you overdo it, then you're going to take too much time doing it.
Well, yeah. Well, what, you know, martial science. How is it we define it? The fastest technique at the given moment, utilizing minimum effort but inflicting maximum damage. Like that's in that sentence that sums up what martial science is, and you can apply that to every single system of fighting, regardless of where it comes from.
Well, let's have a look at a sniper rifle, eh?
Well, there you go.
A really small bullet, can do a lot of damage if it's fast enough.
Yeah, right.
A lot more than a big one.
Yeah. So, what do you want to be, a machine gunner? Or do you want to be a sniper, sharpshooter, sniper? So, but do you see, what we're interested in doing, guys, is not rubbishing what you guys do in terms of your style. Whatever you do in your style is fine.
It's nothing to do with this association.
It's nothing to do with this. It's to do with the science, okay? And we are always ready to have a conversation with anybody about the science of martial arts, because let's face it, it's 2020. Let's just have a chat. If you want to throw out threats, right? Number one, you've got to see these threats through, right? Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a load of hot air. But number two, that tells me that you can't talk about it, or you won't talk about it. I wonder which one it is.
Well, it's not just that, really, James. I mean, the point is they are trying to defend. We put
honorable intentions. I get that.
But honorable for dishonorable people. So, and of course they can say, well, that's relative to me. But I mean, the history is there. It's not been countered. It's not been disputed. It can't be, because there'd be so much evidence to the contrary that they might as well shut up.
Yeah.
But then there's these people saying, well, look, they're with us now.
Yeah.
We are, we support them. Well, if you support them, well, you support anybody. So, I feel embarrassed that I taught those people for 12, 15 years. Absolutely. I feel embarrassed by it,
but
it's disgusting.
Well, it's okay, though, because they've bowed. They've done the ceremony of bowing, and it's all about martial virtue and, protecting the weak and not bullying and all the rest of it. If that's what makes you feel better in martial arts, guys, get a reality, get a dose of reality.
They do that, and then they threaten.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's where it just falls apart then.
Exactly. It all falls apart. If you can't, on a base level, right, can you talk about what you do? Or do you just want to send out threats? We can talk about what we do. We can do what we talk about, but, we're on a podcast. What the hell? But let's have an intelligent conversation. All we want to do is talk about sort of the science of Kung Fu. And if we have to relate that back to, what we do, Lau, then we've got a hell of a lot to talk about, because that's where you learned it. I learned it from you. And I still continue to learn it, and so do you, But it's the idea that, the individual and the style are two separate things.
There is a journey, I guess. There is a journey, and maybe they're still on that journey.
Maybe.
I know that people we know were on that journey. Still trying to, what do they call it? Try to, what's it called? High. They're looking for inspiration and looking for, whatever they call it.
Higher power.
I don't know.
I don't know. But let me ask you a question.
But don't come back with bullshit. I just don't like bullshit. Okay?
No one likes bullshit.
And if people are, people are going to come out with bullshit, then I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not interested.
What do you? I'm going to ask you a question. I just want your thoughts on it. Do you think an individual can represent a martial arts style? And now listen very carefully to the words I use there. Do you think an individual can represent a martial arts style?
Not for everybody, I don't think, because everybody is different. But there's going to be someone up the hierarchy that has to have the responsibility, if you like, and the people that will see their value.
Right.
But then, at the end of the day, people are different. So I think that person has got to respect the values of people who are totally different to them.
Yeah.
Because if you're teaching someone and they're not your size, not your, kind of persona, they're going to need to learn something different. So you've got to have that knowledge to understand how the technique works in several different ways, not just the way you make it work. With, as an example, you're talking about all your power because you're a big, strong guy, but you've got to make that technique work for someone who's nowhere near your size. Right. And if it doesn't work for them, the style doesn't work.
Yeah, right. And what got me thinking of that question is, like, you know, I was thinking about Master Yao. Like, and I don't really know Master Yao, like, you know, but I was thinking about it. I was thinking, like, does Master Yao represent Lau Gar, right? And it's an interesting question, right? And the reason I put it out there is because I don't think any individual can. I think an individual will only ever be as good as they can be, right? So I'll only be as good as I can be. You can only be as good as you know. Of course, we can train hard. We can try and meet expectations, whatever. But I think what Master Yao brought with him to the UK, which was the most important thing, I think, was the science and strategies and the tactics. And it was just dumb luck that we got, you know, Master Yao, and he was asked, you know, by someone to head it. And it's like, you know, if you're that conceited to think that an individual can represent a style, then, you know, you're on a different planet. It's like, you know, so all these challenges go about. It's like, if I challenge your style, you know, against my style, and I win, my style's better. And it's like, no, because you're not challenging styles. You're actually just challenging individuals. So you're challenging the individual's, like, resolve to fight. You know, I don't think style has got anything to do with it. With the exception of, like, training sort of, you know, the physical movements to a point, but we're not, but, you know, an individual, my point is, can't ever represent a style. I think they can only carry it on.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to suggest that they could in this day and age, because people don't train like that. But when you talk about someone like Yao and you're going back in that kind of period of time, they trained hard. They were very traditional. They trained hard, and they brought with them the knowledge and the practical experience and so on. Yes, but when they started to promote the style, they had the tactics and the strategy, the knowledge, as I said. So they were able to bring that style forward. So to that end, they represent the style. But when you give it to people for the purpose of promotion, development, competition, as an example, Master Yao didn't go and say, right, I'm going to fight everybody in a competition to prove my style works. What he did was he proved his style works by teaching people the tactics and the strategies that genuinely work. And the only way we find they work is by putting them to the test in that sense. So competitively, they were able to, you know, compete against every kind of style. So it was that knowledge and that obviously the tuition and so on. So to that end, I believe that individual, Master Yao, was able to promote the style at that time. Obviously, there's going to be an awful lot of different camps now. But I don't think it will ever take away that initial that knowledge, that personality and so on. If you understand what I'm saying. So
I'm just trying to sort of suggest that, you know, I mean, look, I think Master Yao's science and all the rest of it is, you know, wonderful, and I barely know a fraction of it. But what I do know, I am very confident and, like, I believe in it, you know, not because it's blind belief, but because, you know, it makes sense.
It's proven. It's proven. Right. And this is the thing, you know, I mean, when you look at styles and you go, okay, well, fair enough. When it started a long time ago, obviously the early 70s, how many different martial arts did we compete with and beat and dominate? Right the way through. The only people that have that same kind of science now are people that are actually left this style. And there's a lot of people that say, well, wait a minute, I now represent that style. I now represent the knowledge that I've brought with me to, you know, develop that style. If you like. I mean, you can say that about me as well if you want.
What I think the point that what is missing from that is, an individual can go off and carry on their version, because it will only be their version of the style. I think what gives it that credibility is when you have a link to the previous generations. Like we always talk about, like the master student lineage and all the way up and stuff like that, which is important because it's all to do. It's not, all it is to do with is experience. And and so if I've got a question about something, I'll mull it over and then come to a conclusion, and then I'll float that idea with you, and you'll invariably say, well, no, it's this, or it's that, because of this, because of that, or have you considered thinking of this? And it's that same process that you've had many times with, the likes of John Russell and Master Yao, whereby, but the point is there was that, that connection, that sort of, that link, and it's...
Well, yeah. Sorry, did I interrupt? Okay. We're very lucky. We're very lucky as an association, the BKFA in general. We were very lucky at the time that we did have that link, that lineage, if you want, that pedigree. Today, there's not many people that do that, and unfortunately, there are people that go out and do their own thing, find this master, find that master, find this so-called master, whatever.
Yeah.
And then suddenly say, well, now I have this hereditary kind of lineage, if you want. And yet when you look through the cracks, you can see half of it's made up. Now you can see that in two ways. You can see it, one, through the history, through observations of just checking things out, right, finding out who their teacher is and so on. And then on the other hand, just looking at the techniques and scientifically looking at the techniques. So there's two ways you can, kind of shoot people down in that sense. And there are so many people now that have made up their own styles and called themselves masters when they have absolutely no idea of it. But the worst thing is when they call themselves masters and then search out other teachers to teach them. Right? Well, if you call yourself a master, surely you don't need this other teacher to teach you, right? Yeah. So then you look for this teacher, you learn as much as you can,
do my screamer sticks there.
You go find another teacher to teach you something else, and you find another teacher to teach you something else, and all of the different methods or styles that you're doing contradict. They will always contradict one way or another, and so you'll find it actually harder to learn than you would if you was to stick to one natural strategy, right? And which is a solid foundation. And that's why I say with the Lau Gar, we're extremely lucky because we have this one solid foundation. Now, I'm not saying it's universal around the association, because obviously an awful lot of people don't really understand it or don't really know it very well. And some would argue that I don't know it very well. But that's why I question myself every day. That's why I want questions. That's why I want people. Because if I give you a logical argument, if I give enough people a logical argument, then that's how I judge myself. Absolutely. It's the only way I can judge myself.
Yeah. But what happens when, instead of wanting to give people logical arguments, you go out and threaten and challenge them? Does that make you a master because you're hard?
No, because there's no guarantee of success, no matter how good you are.
None.
Yeah, so, I mean, you only have to look at any boxing match for that.
Any fight.
Any fight, yeah.
So,
COVID.
Woo! Okay. No, but, like, the bit that, like, I mean, look, how old's Master Yao now?
He's 70 something. Going on for 80, right? I think. It was about 80 something now, 1942.
So if someone gets to, if he's walking down the street, right?
79.
If Master Yao's walking down the street, someone blindsides him, gets jump on him, beats the shit into him. Does that mean Lau Gar's no good?
No, it doesn't.
What does it mean then?
It means that at that moment in time, someone got the better of someone.
Well, there you go. So challenges are completely worthless because it's it's opportunism, it's luck, it's individual skill. It's never the style. If the style has got science and strategy, then what have you got to prove?
look how many people challenge people in gunslingers in the West in the old days, and then swordsmen in Japan, shoguns and samurais and that challenging each other to duels, etc., to find out who's the best.
Yeah.
What do you gain from it if you lose?
Experience.
Well, you're dead.
Yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, I experienced because I'm.
You're dead. So it's just ego.
It is. Yeah.
It's stupidity and ego.
And
people say, well, I protect this with my life. Okay, you whatever. You do that then. Many a person I've known that have been so aggressive and threatening, then they would have fought anybody. That's a fact. They just would have fought anybody. I can name a lot of them. But the trouble is, you think to yourself, do you really want to, take that risk? Really? And they have come unstuck as well. And then they just get up again and say exactly the same thing. I'll challenge anybody. And then someone knocks them down. They'll get up and say exactly the same thing again. So, but what does it prove? It proves nothing. It proves you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So, if you want to keep on challenging, you want to challenge everybody to do this, that, and the other. I thought fighting was about protecting yourself and loved ones and whatever. I thought that's what, martial arts is all about.
You mean martial virtue? Protect the
I
weak?
thought it was like someone attacks you, you try to do your best to stop them from hurting you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And why then so we're not out there. Like we will never ever threaten anybody for disagreeing with us or speaking their mind to us or insulting us, whatever. We ain't out there to do that. Why are certain people doing that? That's what interests me. Why can't they justify what they do? Not justify, that's too strong a word actually. Why can't they defend or explain what they do with words? Why come on,
if you haven't got the logic or the strategy behind the words, you can't use the words because they don't make sense. I'll give you an example. What's that guy's name that tried to say that he could knock people down without touching them, and then that guy
George
went
Dillman.
to his...
George
That's
Dillman.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the guy that?
Yeah, the small guy, the one who like.
And they held up the sheet and tried to knock someone out from the other side of the sheet.
I'm not sure, but George Dillman has done loads. Like he's done loads of that shit. Like the small guy who used to be Ali's bodyguard, and he
really,
and he had a fight with Bruce Lee and this, that, and the other. And he's written about 100 friggin' books on Dimac. And then when a news reporter went to interview him, it didn't work.
It didn't work on him, yeah.
And he's like, well, obviously you were holding your tongue at the base of your,
Yeah, exactly. So that's where it falls apart, you see. When your strategy, your tactics, your knowledge falls apart when you try to use words.
Yeah.
That's the big issue about, challenges, is if you want a challenge, then express it with a scientific principle. And then someone will give you an argument, strong enough.
Well, two things. Express it, like you just said, with the scientific principle, or turn up.
Yeah.
So there ain't any other option. Well, actually, there is. There's a third. Shut up.
Yeah.
Express it, turn up, or shut up.
Yeah.
But I think, it's not a style thing. I don't dislike styles. I dislike the science. And I particularly dislike people who have got no science, can't argue what they're talking about, and then profess to be masters.
Mm-hmm.
It riles me,
Yeah.
And I particularly don't like people who rip off other genuine people and then, profess to be masters. It's like, Jesus. It's wrong, man. It's wrong. It's just, it's just pathetic, But, but
yes.
hey,
at some point in time, I don't give a toss about you, James.
That's true.
I'm going to let you down. Yeah, sometime I'm going to leave you, James.
I know. What's that? What the hell's that?
And it's a motorbike.
Oh, was it?
Doesn't matter. We have motorbikes
like
here.
A deer. All right. Okay. I didn't
Mind you,
even
half
think
the
you had
cars
flushing
sound like
toilets. Right, I'm going to play you something, and I want your opinion on it. You ready for this? You ready?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Check this out.
Learn exotic martial arts from a grandmaster in your own home. Learn rare and deadly martial arts so powerful they try to ban them. The MFMA is recognized by law enforcement and Black Dragon Fighting Society. Everyone over 18 is welcome worldwide. You don't have to be a martial arts expert to join us. Special deals are available only on eBay. We take normal people and turn them into unstoppable fighting machines. In the MFMA, we leave the competition out of commission. Visit TDAW23 at wixsite.com/MFMA Society. Join the winning team today and crush your fears.
What do you think of that? Was that
Well,
does that not make you want to join or what?
You give them a free advert, didn't you? There.
Oh hell yeah! I think that stuff is worth the price of admission. That, ladies and gentlemen, was a genuine bona fide advert, right, from the UK, right? It's a guy called Master Door, right? And he is from Exeter, right? And this guy is like next level martial artist, and like kill you like that. And he does, it's, amongst other styles, he does like snake fist karate, so fantastic. But basically, what he does is he sells online martial art courses on eBay, right? That sounds legit, right? Sounds legit. And like weapons courses, his own like katas and stuff. There's like, it's crazy. This guy is an absolute lunatic. Like, it's so funny. Used to train Lau Gar at one point. Actually, got to purple sash, and then
Really?
Yeah, but you should listen to him. Like, it's like
What's his
interviews
name?
of him.
What's his
Master
name?
Door something. Master Door. I can't remember his first name. I think it might be Thomas or something. I don't know. But yeah, Master to you. But apparently he got to purple sash, and then he was beating up everybody, including the instructor, and had to leave because he was too good, and all the rest of it. But I got put onto this because, of course, we like to sort of talk about the odd sort of shady martial artists now and then. But from a listener contacted me, and to be fair, it's quite good. And this listener has actually got in contact with this Master Door and just sort of said, let's meet up. I want to do some training with you. I'll pay for your lessons and all the rest of it. Anyway, I think this happens quite regularly to Master Door, although I think he's like challenged a lot. Anyway, Master Door blocked our listener and reported him to eBay, cancelled him off eBay, like blocked him off eBay, and threatened. He must have this like pre-written like letter saying, I'll contact the police if you persist and whatnot, and all the rest of it. But, anyway, so our listener put me onto this, and he's just today got in contact with trading standards on this guy, like, because it's really bad, like, it's really bad. What's he said? He's trading standards, and trading standards have actually said they've heard a lot of things about this guy based out of Exeter selling, these martial art courses and whatnot. They're aware of him, and basically he's had all of his associations that he talks about in all his adverts, like based in America and stuff like that, and they've all been discredited. And but it costs like 25 quid to be like a master, and he won't send you a certificate, he'll send you a PDF through email, so you can print off your own certificate that says like master and all the rest of it. Like he self-awards himself grades, so that's funny. But I tell you what, though, wasn't that a good advert? Like, I'd want to join that. like, wasn't that a good advert? I was like, oh,
that's what people have done. It's a great advert to go. I'm the only white man that's been in bloody the mountains with whatever.
Yeah.
And for £1, you can learn all the secrets of Dim Mac.
Well, we've it's exactly on the same level. Oh,
got that
yeah.
PDF.
Yeah, I should have.
I sent that to a few people who were quite familiar with it. But, you know, things like that are going to get talked about, you know, and you want some infamy, you know. You've got it in infamy.
Infamy. They've all got it in infamy. You know, it's just like, what the hell? Like, I'd expect that. Obviously, I'd expect that, like, in the US, 100%. But when it's like on your doorstep in the UK, it's well, not on your doorstep, but you know, it's kind of a bit like, bloody hell, is that really what's going on?
It's a frightening situation, really, in martial arts, because all the young guys want to call them grandmasters by the time they're 23, and they'll do anything. They'll just throw themselves around, you know, swords around or whatever, and try to prove their worth. And you know, even if they're half decent fighters, you know, you've got to understand that age catches up with everyone. Right, and some of these people who are like my age or older then rise up to these challenges because they totally, you know, believe in their style, and they're going to get hurt, and we see it all the time.
Oh, just look on YouTube.
So it's really just a young man's stupidity. Yeah, you know, like anything, like boxers, you know, screaming out. But you see that it's fighting without fighting, isn't it? It's what you've got to try to do. Right, there was a swordsman, a Japanese swordsman. I've forgotten his name. I really apologise. Begin with M. Off the top of my head, I can't remember him. Probably ends with Shui or something. Anyway,
probably.
He wrote the book 5 Rings, so people would know who I'm talking about.
Right.
At the end of his life, he wrote this book about strategy and tactics, and what he would do when people challenged him. He would just simply turn up late, and that would rile the people that had challenged him, and he would beat them because they were angry, right? And then one person tried to challenge him, decided he would get a load of people with muskets, a load of people with swords, bows and arrows, all sorts of things, trying to kill him. This time he turned up early, and he saw them all coming, so and he beat the shit out. He beat the shit out of a lot of them, right? And then, you know, he had to dodge bullets and everything getting out of there, but he killed the guy that he had gone to challenge.
Yeah.
But it's just, these stories they belong in you know, the time gone by. They're not now.
Nobody trains that hard. Like,
no, but like Muhammad Ali used the same tactic.
Oh, 100% against
getting people angry.
Joe Frazier and all that, like, pissed him off, and you know, I love that.
They used the same. A lot of fighters use the same tactic from that kind of strategy.
Well, look at Conor McGregor as well. You know?
Exactly. Now, what's the guy? The Gypsy guy, Gypsy King. What do you call him?
Tyson Fury.
Yeah, Tyson Fury. He did the same thing.
Yeah.
He used exactly the same tactic to try to get people angry. So on the day, they were just fuming, right? And they would be angry, and they'd go out in flames, you know, really trying to beat him.
It's interesting what anger does, isn't it?
Yeah, there's lots of tactics and strategies you can use, but threatening people is not one of them. You know, it's not going to change anything. Like you say, you know, turn up or shut up.
Well, absolutely.
Or you know, have a good conversation and a cup of tea.
I would love that. But the problem is, like, with a lot of people that we talk about, there's no way they turn up. Like, none. And if they do, I'd eat my words, 100%. But we all know that they've got they can't talk about what they do. They can only sort of, you know, try and look good and try and sort of, you know, play the roles that they are assigned, you know.
It's too much to lose. There's too much to lose in a modern society.
Like, we got nothing to lose. I got nothing to lose.
You make a challenge, and if it's not accepted, and you go up to beat someone up anyway, and you get done for assault, you ain't going to be teaching anymore. It's as simple as that. You know.
Yeah.
There's so many times when I was coming to Canada, obviously driving a truck and everything. I used to drive down this really narrow country road, and so many drivers videoing me and getting out their cars and screaming.
Sorry, I was yawning because you're talking about trucking.
Yeah, shut up. Well, I'm not supposed to be there, but of course I was supposed to be there. But the amount of anger and the amount of animosity, and you just want to get out and smack them. But you do that, and I wouldn't have got to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
There's many a time that you felt it. I felt it with these people, but you can't do anything about it. And as we were talking the other day, I've never really sort of sprouted, in public, animosity to anyone. At the end of the day, I never try to call anyone back.
Because I think that the thing with you is, I was saying that it's I don't know if it's your nature or it's you being strategic or whatever. Like, if someone's going to slag you off, you would rather just, ignore them and listen to all the bullshit they've got to say and whatever. But like, a lot of people, they'll sort of slag you off and then go and tell their friend, oh, this guy's crap, this guy, whatever, and then, so they try and network with as many people as they can to sort of spread this information about
well, that's
whereas
how they got there.
But you're like a lone warrior sort of thing. Like, you're not interested in building up a following, or you're trying to influence people into your and I say this, like, even though we're on the podcast, we talk about it, but it's just us having a conversation. At no point do we ever want following. We don't want people to believe what we say. We don't want them not believe what we say. We just want them to have a think about what we say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's just
right.
like,
well,
I think that's your biggest weakness, though. I think because
I agree with you. I agree with you. I never, when this, these people left me, for instance, and we talk about it all the time, of course, because it was a big turning point in my life. And I never once tried to, call anyone. I did call one guy to say, one of the Scottish guy's friends who was teaching as well. And I said, what's going on? Are you going to be able to, change his mind or whatever? Oh, no, can't. I just don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what he's doing. That one person I spoke to, because, I guess I talked to him as a friend. But as far as students are concerned, no, I never try to call up the students and try to find out what they'd actually said. And of course, because I didn't do that, I never got a single student calling me and saying, what's gone on with this, what's gone on with that. And I just accepted it because, if people are going to think that, then let them think it.
Yeah.
Because it always comes out in the wash, you see. It always comes out in the wash.
It all comes out in the wash.
And I have no interest in trying to, create some kind of name for myself. So that's the way it is.
No. Well, at the end of your emails, how many of your qualifications do you list? I don't know. So,
I just say Steve.
It's never about that.
And I don't call anybody Mr. such and such either. No. When I used to call them by their first name, and then suddenly, they're trying to be official and calling me Mr. Newbie. Shut up. Stop. I don't want to know.
Well, I could call you Grandad from now on.
Oh, yeah, there's that as well, yeah.
Come on, Grandad. Hurry up.
Oh, and I'm hiding in Canada. Has he ever been to Canada? Has he ever been to Canada? Next week
I'm not sure. I mean,
Next week we're going to the glaciers, right? We're going to the glaciers, and we're going to go. And on the way, there's fences up to stop the animals going across the road, But then there isn't a bit further on, and then you just get bears walking across the road. You get elk. You get friggin' mountain goats and cougars, all walking around the road. And that's this place. And you telling me that I'm hiding here? I'll be hiding from the bloody bears. I put Elizabeth off. I read the thing. It says, tours, walking tours in, near Banff.
Yeah.
And it said, is there any danger of bears? Well, it says if you shoot one with a bow or stab one or shoot one with a gun, it'll only make him angry and may make the fight worse. So carry bear stuff. You can hire that at all times. Make sure you make as much noise as you can when you're walking through the woods. It's just so stupid.
That's where America have got it, because they can have high capacity semi-automatic rifles. You can't in Canada.
So, no, we can't.
There's nothing quite like taking a walk with a M4 and a 50-round drum. Have this.
Yeah, except they get you at night. I had a friend.
When you're
I had a friend camping. They were hunting for moose.
Yeah.
And he woke up and there was a bear sitting on his head. He's inside the tent, and the bear's on the outside of the tent, sitting on his head.
Oh, fantastic.
He's just scratching himself.
Jesus. As I hope he was sitting, not shitting.
No, he's just sat on his head. And when he pulled away, he opened the tent and the bear had run off.
Oh, amazing! Oh, that's amazing. Jesus, yeah, different world, different.
It is a different world. It is a different world, and
I think all the IRA informants and that, didn't they go to live in Canada?
I don't know. Probably in America because they fund them.
Yeah, probably.
But no, I think anyone who says I'm hiding from, what am I hiding from? For God's sake, where am I hiding from?
Calm down, dear.
I chose a new life.
Calm down, dear. It's a commercial.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
I just...
Right. Well, we talked a bit about challenges. Now let's talk a bit of Lau Gar syllabus. Like I want to go there. I want to talk about hand blocks, and we'll finish with kick blocks next week. Hand blocks 9 and 10. Okay, and I want to just discuss about them as we normally do. And first off, hand blocks 9 and 10, they were a late introduction, weren't they, to the syllabus?
Was
and
it
why
about
was
1983 or something? Was it?
I think it was. Was it later than that? Because in your
it might have been later than that. Yeah, I'll give
book.
you the sheet of paper. Yeah, I haven't got my book available, but it was in the 80s. They came because they were trying to keep something like that. Maybe they were trying to keep people who were interested in competition fighting. They're trying to keep them interested in the style as opposed to just becoming kickboxing. Right. And they kind of did that first, and then later on they introduced kickboxing as a completely separate and joined WACO, World Amateur Kickboxing Organisation.
Right. What year did they join WACO then? What year did they join?
I can't be sure. I maybe 1987.
Okay. All right.
Possibly something like that, but please don't quote me on that. Maybe.
Yeah.
But it was definitely around that time. So the hand blocks and the kick blocks for 9 and 10 were added.
But really, when we're talking about sort of the competition element of those hand blocks, we're only talking about really the attacks, aren't we?
Well, yes, we are, because to be honest with you, I don't know why they did it, because there are back fists in the sets.
Mm.
You know, there are back. And uppercuts as well.
Yeah, and
Farcoon.
Yeah, well, and step through reverse punches. You know. So,
they're all there, but they had to give them a scenario, I guess, to make them understand it, because obviously, I guess a lot of them wasn't practicing their forms anyway, so they wouldn't have seen them in their forms. So what they saw them in individual hand blocks, but of course, again, if you don't practice them, then they don't work. Like anything, you know, so you've got to practice it. So the first one, obviously, you know, is a punch and a hook.
So it's number 9.
Number 9, yeah, shuffle and then step and hook.
So it's a shuffle jab.
Shuffle jab, step, hook.
Shuffle jab, step, hook.
Step,
and interesting. So so talk about how we sort of go from the start then. So the counters for the defense for the shuffle jab.
Well, all you're doing is just moving back and covering, and then what you're doing is moving to the side in, and then you're wiping, and then back fist, uppercut, and what is it? One to the body.
One to the body, one to the
and then one to
then an uppercut to the body.
Yeah, I've got to practice that one. Yeah, I haven't done that one for ages.
Oh no, it's you know, absolutely. But it's so we're stepping back, we're wiping.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just wiping, and then you're moving to the outside.
So
you're rotating.
But talking about, I mean, is it a wipe, or are we looking at it as a strike, as if we were analysing other hand blocks? You know.
Sorry, a wipe.
Are we looking at it as a strike? Or are we just looking at it as a last minute?
Them as a strike. I would always look at them as a strike, but
given
you are
the
just
speed
moving.
Given the speed of the shuffle jab, because it is incredibly fast.
Yeah, so it's better to move with it.
Right.
It's better to move with it. You're not moving backwards, you're moving with it. Remember, so you're moving with it. So you're going to cover, and obviously as you cover, you're going to rotate, and as you rotate, then 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So it's backhand. Leave your hand open because you haven't got time to do anything else. So you're in that position 1 and to the head or to the neck rather. Yeah. And then uppercut.
Yeah. It's a double pressing palm, isn't it? Right? When we look at that.
Yeah, double pressing.
And then you continue. Then you wipe it.
Yeah. So it's just 1, 2, 3.
And so it's like if you're not training the double pressing palm as per some of the sets, and if you're doing it, Sunpak Churn. Yeah. If you're doing it and your elbow's exposed, that hook is gonna connect, right?
And
so there's a good example.
It ends up like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good example of.
And remember, it's coming around the side as well, so you need to turn to the side, and that's why now you can then hit with the back of the hand.
Yeah.
And if you hit the lower ribs with the back of the hand, and then that one will just automatically be able to strike.
Yeah, because you're striking for a reason. Because by hitting low, your upper body.
It's one of these are like these two, both 9 and 10, are theatrical license.
100%.
Right, they have some theatrical license, so you have to hit low, and then they go down, and because they bring their head forward, you're now able to hit that. Okay, so that takes them backwards, and as it goes backwards, uppercut to the stomach. So they're going bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? Yeah. Am I saying that right? Am I dancing right?
You're dancing.
Yeah. One body forwards. Yeah. Chop, neck sideways, and then boom, uppercut.
Yeah.
And there's the uppercut. So so you've got a hook, you've got a jab, you've got a hook, and you've got an uppercut with the defense.
Yeah. So after we've done the Sunpak Churn, we can almost, because we're slapping away, you can almost then continue that through with that bottom palm, can't you? To maybe get a bit of power behind your strike. Now,
where would you find it? Where are you going to find it, James?
Excuse me?
Where are you going to find it? Where are you going to find that?
Oh, in the first set.
In the first set? Where else?
Oh,
I'll tell you. It's all right.
Hang on. It's coming to me. Farkun.
The sword set.
Oh, okay. All right. I was thinking Farkun when you
cut and back, cut and back. So you're going bang, yeah. So you're going bang, bang, sword.
There's one of those
bam,
moments.
Yeah. Bang, bang.
Bam, bam.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you find it in Farkun though? Was I wrong there? Like,
well, that's different because you're actually striking down.
All right. Yeah. No. Fair enough. That is different. Okay.
And I think you're thinking of number 10 then as well.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, because number 10 is slicing in and out, and then people do it like this. You see. We're
professionals, everybody. We don't forget our syllabus.
No, well, we've not forgotten it. We're just doing it for a specific. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Calm down. Yeah.
Just,
that's really good. The sword set. I never ever considered that.
In your first move, you're going cut down and then cut out. Yeah. So as you step in, you step out, and it's exactly the same. You're blocking, moving out, and strike 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Same thing.
The reason I mentioned about sort of taking it back to generate that power, is because it's a back fist to the body, and you would think that it's kind of like it's a back fist to the body. You're going to need something behind it.
Well, I would leave it up. I would leave the hands open.
Okay, all right. So you just hitting with the wrist?
But it's faster.
Okay.
Because you aren't going to make a fist. You just.
I genuinely thought it was a back fist. So
it's just to the ribs. Yeah, it's just to the ribs. A lot of people would do it with the back fist. A lot of people would do it with the forearm.
Yeah, right.
If you're close enough, it totally depends. So, I mean, what we're talking about is retaliation or response.
Mm. Yeah, but what we're also talking about is syllabus. So,
but the application of syllabus is done on the application of energy, okay, the creation of energy. So you've got the weapons at the end of it, but you need to understand how the development of the energy is going to be. Otherwise, those weapons are no use to you.
Yeah.
So you have to generate the energy in order to utilize the weaponry.
Well, it's a great example then. Now you've mentioned the sword, because in the sword to generate that power, you're moving the waste around, aren't you?
And that's exactly the same. That's why I mentioned it, not because I've got a sword when I do number 9 hand block. I haven't got a sword, and I'm not doing the same thing with my hands, but what I am doing is bringing the arm back the same as I would have done the sword, and then bringing it back with my body. And as I'm doing that, I'm doing the same thing with that open hand. And I'm trying to aim at the floating ribs. I'm trying to aim at the low ribs. So I'm making him come down to the side, the same as you would with a side uppercut. And, bang. So you're hitting them, they come down. Because they come down, they're bringing your neck, their neck towards you. So at that point in time, you're going to be able to hit that neck.
Yeah.
Sure, and as you hit that neck, they're going backwards. As they go backwards, they're
applying,
or they're providing their stomach to do the uppercut. Yeah. So that's why I say about theatrical license.
100%. But it also illustrates the point I think we mentioned in one of the podcasts when we're talking about sort of every strike, there's a reason. A target for every target, there's a reason, sort of thing. And that's a good illustration in terms of the theatrical license, because like we said, they're 2-man forms. It's it's a movie fight, but you got to make it count, sort of thing.
Well, you got to generate the energy. This is what I'm saying. You got to generate the energy. Doesn't mean to say you have to use energy. Doesn't mean to say you have to hurt your partner.
No.
But you've got to know you can. Okay, and of course you can use the same techniques. Hit in a bag. Okay, or hit in a focus pad or a kick shield. Okay, you don't have to forfeit students, to hurt them. Which is what a lot of people do. Oh yeah, if I hit you with this, and you're steak and chips 12, I'm gonna be able to kill you.
No,
how many people you killed?
That was Lobster Thermidor 10. So watch it, all right?
Yeah. Just don't come back with this bullshit.
No, but really they're kind of superfluous in terms of additions to the syllabus. But in all fairness, it is quite a dynamic hand block, and it is, the techniques in it are sort of, gradually
bang,
more.
Bang. They're one complements the next.
Yeah, and that's what I like about that.
Hitting 3 times,
yeah, that's what I like. I really like.
It's the same with number 10. Same thing.
Yeah. So just in summary, then, just explain just number 9. Then the attacker does what from what stance?
He's got his left foot forward. He shuffles jab.
Yeah.
And then shuffle jab, and you'll just move covering.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you're covering, keep both hands up. Okay, and from that position, you're just going to slap him. Catch him on bloody wire.
He shuffle jab, and then he's going to step and hook with the right.
So you just cover, and then rotate. Then you're rotating. As you're rotating, this hand is inside. Okay, but you do remember this hook is coming around, so you need to stop it if that is possible.
Yeah.
At that point, okay, and then this hand is free.
Yeah.
To continue, so you're only going to end up blocking with one.
Right.
To be honest.
So it's a bit kind of similar in principle, same principle really as, the leg box.
Yeah, that's pressing down, that's pressing sideways.
Yeah,
so
jaw. But it's the same, it's the same move, just done to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess they would call them different because they're going to have different intentions.
Different oriented. Yeah, but this is where Kung Fu gets complicated, doesn't it, for people?
Yeah.
Because they go, it's not the same move. It's like, it is really. It's just there instead of there.
Yeah, well, it's up to people to differentiate. It's up to, each individual to, draw the line where they want to call one technique. It's like saying, I'd say there were 13 techniques in the first set. Other people will say, I'll make this many or 10 or, 12 or 30 or something like that, depending on how they differentiate each movement.
Well,
but of course, my 13 becomes 1 point something million.
Yeah, 1.4. But then it becomes limitless because you're forgetting the additions of the the directions of attacks and all the rest of it. So.
Yeah, so it becomes infinite.
Yeah, infinite.
Yeah, we should call it infinite kung fu.
Infinite kung fu. Hey, we can market that and sell it. Yeah, infinite kung fu. That's what that guy missed out on.
It is. It's infinite kung fu. It is. I did actually call it infinite kung fu at one stage because I used to know.
What?
I used to know someone who did Tai Chi, and they called it infinite Tai Chi.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Right. Great. Okay. Right. Yeah. Never heard that. Let's move on to number 10. Go on. So again, another sort of competition-inspired.
One a step and a back fist, a step and a back fist. Yeah.
And so it's left fighting
using
stance.
the same hand.
Yeah. Left fighting stance. Right. You're going to step back fist.
Yeah, step back fist, and straight away you're going to try to do an uppercut.
And it's a shuffle uppercut.
Yeah. Okay. So you're stepping back fist, and it depends on how you use your hands, because often people will try to use the hand to do an uppercut. So it's step back fist and then an uppercut. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, and as they do the uppercut, you are slice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slicing.
Okay. Everyone's
so it's a
done
threading block. Yeah. Threading block, slicing in.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you just explain to everybody the difference between a threading block and a say for a tan or a beauty looks in the mirror, because they look similar.
Well,
they have different
this is a wrist, and this is a thread. Right. It's threading past.
So for those people listening as well, could you just could you describe it?
Well, it's like threading through. It's a non-stop movement all the way through, so we can go straight, as in Bok Pai Joon.
But
so basically,
it's extending out into
it's extending out forwards, yeah. And if you put your leg behind them, in effect, you could use that as a throw.
Yeah.
You know, if you put your right leg behind them, put your right hand out. Yeah. Of course, if they had your hand, you can do it as a release.
Yeah. But so a threading block predominantly isn't going to be biased towards the left side or the right side, as per if you're going to do the beauty looks in the mirror when you're using the wrist, etc. It's generally going to be sort of biased towards one side of your body. Of course, that is in principle. Of course, if we turn or if just slight angle changes, then it can remain in the center. But
well, the reason it's not in the center though. It's kind of you're going off. Okay. In that sense, you're starting from the center and going off to the side.
But you can look at the threading block. I mean, you find that in Zhong Sao, right? For example.
Well, I wouldn't call it that, but if you continued it, yes, you're right. Because
so it's the beginning. The beginning journey of the threading block. But it also
integral.
Melds into the same sort of. But threading block. It's going to extend out.
Yeah, people will have their own limitations. Yeah. People form their own limitations by the way that they categorize things.
Right.
Yeah, so we all categorize things, don't we? And it just depends on how you think of something at the time. Like we categorized number 9 and 10 as like more kickboxing, and yet we'd already said that those movements are actually in the forms, so therefore they cannot be kickboxing. Kickboxing, by definition, is from a kicking and punching style, or from the elements, kicking and punching elements of the Kung Fu style. And you can say Jiu-Jitsu if you want. Way back would be the wrestling elements of traditional martial arts in probably in China.
I think to when we categorize, and like you're saying, we're kind of dumbing things down so that we can comprehend them a lot easier.
Everyone does. That's why everyone does it.
Yeah, and so it's sort of it's that. Yeah, it's that. But obviously, to say to someone, well, this is the kickboxing one, but actually it's not kickboxing because you find it in this set, that set, this set, and it's actually all kung fu. It's all related, and it's all this. And it's like it's the kickboxing one. Come on.
Yeah, because otherwise people have to limit. It's like. You've got to limit yourself. You've got to limit certain, things.
So,
A-E-I-O-U.
Right. So defense. Okay, we've done we've step back fist as the attack, the first defense,
and then we tried to do
block,
the uppercut
outside, and then
and as he's gone to do the uppercut, we're slicing against it, and then from there, and it is a slice. Now, this is one of those really interesting things that people might not understand as listeners, beginners, or people who are doing this, in that when we do movements like this kind of block, we're trying to twist this as far as we can. Yeah. So going like that.
Yeah.
And when we do this one, we're slicing in as far as we can, and that's twisting. Yeah. And the reason we want it to twist as far as possible is because it wants to come out itself. Yeah. So like instead of us going 1, 2, we're going 1, 2.
Yeah.
Rotate as far as it possibly goes and straight back out. And where would we find that?
That's in the first. That's in the first set. That's in That's
it is. And then it goes out, so it goes. So therefore, it's rotating. But people, when they do the first set, they won't understand that, so they'll go 1, 2. But if they did it like so, it would be 1, 1, 1. And that's where I'm talking about. People can categorize things and say how many. I mean, how many techniques are there? Oh, 1, 2. Oh no, it's not. It's 1.
1. Yeah.
You see, so people can categorize it how they want. Yeah. But it's elsewhere as well. Okay. This is in.
Yeah, I mean, again, people will go, "No, it's a different move."
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's a.
Do you see what I mean? And
like so, rotating, then it uncoils.
For everyone listening, we're talking about sort of double punching, or
double punches, sun ping joy in the walks.
When you're covering across vertically, but you're also twisting. You're bouncing.
It's not a rotation like that. It's a rotation like that. Yeah. So it's rotate on rotate, if you like. Yeah. Rotate.
But I think when you're teaching people you do have to sort of
they won't understand. Yeah, they won't understand this rotation and this. Yeah. But that's what we talk about. Didn't we just talk about it, where people maintain the same size move all the time, and therefore do not get the concept of going 1 and then 2 to become 1. Yeah. Or 1. Yeah. So block and hit at the same time. Mm-hmm. And people don't get that because they don't see it. They categorize it, in their way. So yes, you've got this rotation. Automatically, it straight away rotates. So you're actually moving into the target straight away. So you bang, bang, straight in, bang, bang. And as you do that, of course, that's into the side of the neck. Mm-hmm. Where does that put your elbow? It puts it right there. Yeah. Okay. And what do people do? They go bang, bang, and then they go, and they try to hit them in the stomach or something, or they drop inside forward. No, just simply drop that elbow from your neck. Just drop that elbow in, and it will land right there, just above about an inch above the nipple, and it'll be extremely painful.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go bang, 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 straight away, bang, 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 and that's it as you're moving in.
Yeah.
And the elbow is beautiful right in these places.
It's again the direction of Lau or our science is forward, So it's it's trying to.
And of course, there's the fourth technique, of course, as well. We finish at the end. Yeah. But, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and explain to everybody what that fourth technique is attacking.
Everybody's got a different perception. I mean, if you hit someone in there and they go like that, they're dropping the hips forwards, or rather dropping the chest down. You can drop that down towards into the hip, into the hip if you want to, but otherwise people would just strike the ribs. Yeah. The most important thing is you shouldn't be going backward. The biggest mistake people make is they go like that and then they go backwards to do it like so. And of course, you're taking the energy the other way then. Yeah. So you really need to be bang and really pressing into it. And as you press into it, you're creating that energy.
Yeah.
They're pretty quick techniques. These things are. They're pretty good, quick techniques.
Yeah, it's great, and I love the way it illustrates one move after the other, like that for every technique, a target for every target, a reason. I like that. So, bum, 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 you know, and it's an interesting concept, if anything, you know, and like I said, you know, you take the ideas of them, and
I think
you know,
I think one of the things people forget when they're training, because they don't bother doing their hand blocks, is they don't get to practice or understand the concepts that they're meant to provide and meant to
represent,
illustrate.
Yeah.
So when you do it in a set, you know, the first set, for instance, go 1, 2, kind of thing, 3. They don't, they don't, and that's how they practice. They set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Instead of sort of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's something you always say this. You always say it because it's so important.
Yeah.
To break free of the confines of a set, but at the same
big
time,
movements, break free of the ABCs, start doing your handwriting.
Yeah, but when I say break free, of the movements in a set, I mean, you know, the big movements, the on the surface movements, and you know,
they can work.
Yeah,
they'll only work at the speed that an individual is fighting you. If you're trying to do big movements and the guy's fighting you with short movements, fast movements, sharp movements, your big kung fu isn't going to work.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
You can big swings,
but
and,
it's
and
powerful.
all this big swings.
But it's powerful.
Well, you know, you swing in this sort of thing like that, you just close the gap. If you can close the gap, great. You end up wrestling, or you'll just headbutt them. But you know, you keep going backwards, eventually they're going to hit you.
Yeah.
So you're either going to kick at the legs, or you're going to headbutt them, or you know, close that gap. That's what I would do. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We know.
You know, I don't want to.
You don't have to keep saying it's your personal opinion. I think people know that now. So, in summary of all the hand blocks, then, what do you think the whole idea behind them is? I mean, you know, just in summary, you know,
they're just illustrations. They're just scenarios. They are just tools or vehicles, if you want to use them. We always use the word vehicles, don't we? And you know, we find that they can be extremely useful. Where people are unable to break down sets, they've been given scenarios that are already set out for them, broken down for them. The problem you've got is most people do not practice them. I mean, they barely practice their sets, so they just get enough to get through the grading. So it's always going to be big movements.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you're always going to write big letters until you start writing an awful lot. And if you've been in trouble a lot at school like me, then 100 times I shall not do this, or I shall not do that. I shall not swear at the teacher. I shall not, you know, nick someone else's milk. 100 times, you get pretty good at writing. But they don't do that now, do they? They don't make them, you know, write a load of stuff. In fact, I don't think they write, do they? Don't they just do a computer?
Probably.
They probably can't even do their laces up. They can't do their laces up. They can't write. Yeah.
I used to wear cowboy boots at school. I got ribbed for it.
Did you?
Well, I didn't care. I said, you know, get off. But my dad always used to say to me, he says, you know, when you stand out, everyone wants to fight you then. Like, okay.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess that's true.
Fair point. Yeah, no, so we've, okay, that was good. I enjoyed talking about those hand blocks. I mean, you know, such a relevant part of the syllabus, but like you said, so many people brush by it.
Practice them.
You know, and it's like,
yeah, if you rush through the garden, you ain't going to smell the roses. That's what they say.
Absolutely. Wow, that was great. That was a good one. I like that. Guys, we're gonna finish it there. And as always, if you got any questions about Lau Gar, about Kung Fu in general, please drop us a line. You can get in contact with us on Facebook Messenger. You know, comment on YouTube, whatnot. And while you're there, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit the notification bell, all the rest of it, and give us a like on our Facebook page. This podcast is available on Podbean and iTunes as well. And guys, we got a real passion for Kung Fu, for Chinese martial arts. But you know, the real passion really is about the science of it, not the style per se. The style is just something we can attach to and, enjoy the history and whatnot. But really, it's the science that, that is the most important thing. And once that goes, what have you got left?
Forever.
Yeah, it's gone
And
forever.
a lot of the time it's gone as well. And that's, as we see that, don't we?
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody wants to make a buck.
Yeah, everyone does. Everyone wants
It's funny
to be
how
a
they
master.
blame everyone else.
Everybody wants to be a master, and everyone wants to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
So respect what you've got, honor what you got. Don't take yourself too seriously. You're not that good. No one ever is. But enjoy your training. Don't endure it. That's the main thing. Christ, enjoy it. It's a wonderful thing. Guys, thanks again for joining us on another, simply amazing episode of the Kung Fu Podcast, where you just allow us to talk absolute crap for a couple of hours. But we love it. And, from me, James, still hiding out in Hereford, and from Steve, in his bunker
hiding
in Canada.
out in the middle of the mountains in Canada.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm contemplating, in the mountains, trying to learn the secrets of the
the monks,
the Burger
the
King,
Inuits of the tribe Starbucks.
Yeah,
no, Tim Hortons rather.
The Burger King lives in the mountains, and he's there, and he will teach me everything there is to know about lettuce. And
okay, it was funny, and then it just petered up.
Yeah.
Anyway, take care, old man. I'll see you soon, guys. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Concentrate on your enemy's weak points. The eyes, the throat, the knackers.
Hi guys, thanks so much for joining us on the Kung Fu Podcast. If you like that and you want to find out more about us, you can head over to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram or YouTube and find us under SJN Martial Arts. And also guys, this podcast is available on Podbean and iTunes. So until next time, take care of yourselves and we'll see you again on the Kung Fu Podcast.
Karate punch is like an iron bar, whack. A Kung Fu punch is like an iron chain with an iron ball attached to the end and it goes whang.
Can you break a log like that?
Don't know. Never been attacked by tree.
Right, take it in full frame, level it out. Go back a bit. Right.
I don't want the light to get it.
And then that's fine. Right, and then just smile. Brilliant.